If you zoom back 5, 10 years and said in the span of 2 years, this is gonna happen, someone would say you're crazy. We're downtown Jerusalem on our way to meet with U.S. Ambassador David Friedman. This is a guy who's been incredibly instrumental in reshaping the Middle East as we know it. He's been in the room on almost every big decision that has happened in the Middle East in the last 4 years. From the Abraham Accords to commerce agreements, I mean, he's been there with every change that has happened. I'm truly, personally fascinated to find out how things looked from the inside. Well, Ambassador Friedman, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Mati, for having me.
I think you're coming off this almost 4-year period of a roller coaster of international relations, changes in the Middle East. You were on the inside on all these deals and all these changes. What is your impression? What is your takeaway from this time?
A lot of good things came out of one basic principle, which is that the United States will stand with Israel. I think everything else flowed from it. And ultimately, the ability to make peace with 5 Muslim nations.
The power structure, the alliances in the Middle East have completely been shuffled. Israel, several other countries around the Mediterranean, the United States that have said we're positive, we're for peace, prosperity, we're for financial development. We're not for the same things as these disruptive countries.
Yeah,
and you got to sit in office for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly the highlight of my career, although it was something we were nurturing during the entire time.
What was it in the decision-making process that allowed so much to happen in such a short amount of time?
The president said to Jared, he said to me, think outside the box. Think of what might work. I want to make this area more stable, more prosperous. I want to increase the chances of peace. And what we concluded, principle number 1, stand with your friends, stand with your allies, and the most important ally, of course, was Israel.
Making peace will not be easy. We all know that. Both sides will face tough decisions.
Second principle, don't flinch from your enemies. The United States is the strongest country in the world. It's got a $750 billion annual military budget. We're not going to allow rogue nations to threaten the policy of the United States. You know, it started, I think, in May of 2017. The president traveled to the Middle East. It was his first foreign trip. When he went to Saudi Arabia, he convened 50 different Muslim countries. He looked them in the eye and said, look, I am looking to all of you to eradicate radical Islamic terrorism. You have to do it first, because it's beginning here on this part of the world. I think that resonated tremendously throughout the region. Beyond that, I think a very clear message began to resonate within the region. Very simple. Israel is not the problem. Israel is the solution. They said, wait a second. Number 1, we have a common adversary in Iran. Number 2, there's great opportunity here for tourism, for cultural exchange, for economic advancement, discovery, for technology, for biotech, ag tech. Now, once the Emiratis came in, you know, Bahrain was coming in, the Sudanese, Morocco, in all these places, the people had already come to the view that they wanted to be, you know, within a circle of peace. And it just took a little bit of kind of strategic maneuvering to get everybody there. I'll leave you with a thought. Our founding fathers said that there are certain rights that are endowed by our Creator that are unalienable. Everybody knows life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Where did the founding fathers get that view? By reading the Bible. You know, and where does the Word of God come from in the Bible? Isaiah says, out of Zion shall go forth the law, the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Right here, where we're sitting right now, this is the source. This is the wellspring from which the American Republic was created, from the American values were created. We've become untethered to those core values that made us a great nation. And so I think Jerusalem's the answer. I think more people understand what it brings to the world.
You've had a very unique opportunity to truly influence and bless the Jewish people in the land of Israel.
It was a blessing for me. That was the greatest honor of my life.
The changes taking place today can be seen as a sign that God is restoring this region to its former glory. He wants to create a prosperous future in the region where our story of faith began, the Middle East.
What does a new Middle East look like in a year, 2 years, 3 years?
You know, we have to always be careful with optimism in our region, unfortunately. But I do think you can see the beginnings of a sense in which there is an emergent generation that is no longer excited by the prospect of political violence, not excited at the prospect of, you know, revenge against this or that ancient colonial power, no longer energized.
They just want a good life.
They just want, exactly, a good life.
With the right policies, the Middle East should become exactly the opposite of what it was, which is the source of threats and terrorism and violence exported around the world. I think it can become much more open, much more prosperous, much more free-thinking. I think we can expand, freedom of religion dramatically, human rights dramatically. I mean, all the things that you want to do as a diplomat, in foreign policy, they're here for the taking, but we got to stay on this track.
To see firsthand the Abraham Accords in action, I met with Marina.
Hey, Marina.
Hi.
So this is an exciting day for you.
A very exciting day.
Who personally oversaw the first Israeli export directly to the United Arab Emirates.
This package is going straight from here
to United Arab Emirates. Yes.
For the first time.
First time. First time for us and first time for Israel.
It goes straight from here into the container onto a ship to the United Arab Emirates.
Exactly. You can just have direct relationships with our customers that are glad to receive our products.
It's incredible how just overnight, a country that we had no official relationships with, they can just call you on the phone and we have open commerce, open conversation. It's so dramatically different than it was just a short time ago.
It's very dramatic. It's very dramatic both for us and also for them.
We're living in exciting times.
Yes.
This first shipment was sent from Davik Factory, an Israeli adhesive tape manufacturer based in the kibbutz Sde Boker, where Israel's first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, chose to live out his final days.
Thank you for coming to visit us at Davik at kibbutz Sde Boker.
It's awesome to be here.
Let's see the factory.
Let's do that.
I met with Davik's VP, Eran, to take a closer look inside their impressive operation.
We make adhesive tapes. This is what we know how to do. We are exporting everywhere to about 30 countries around the world.
So, a short time ago, Israel signed the Abraham Accords. What did you think when you heard that, when you first heard that?
It's great. It's a great breakthrough because as exporters, we need new markets. And it's giving us the opportunity to do business with new markets in that area. We had a connection with United Arab Emirates, I think for 4 or 5 years before the agreement was signed, but we couldn't do business with them. We didn't have the ability to ship it to them, and they didn't have the ability to pay to us, to our Israeli bank. It was a barrier. For me to get the first phone call from the area code 971, which is the Emirate, direct phone call to my cellular, it was something that was impossible. And eventually, we are people, they are people that just want to make business.
It's incredible how overnight, the UAE, a country that we had no official relationship with, are now our friends. There's open commerce, open communication, warm relationships, and a bright, open future.
The first Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, his house is 200 meters from this factory. And when the people of the kibbutz heard that the first container from Israel to the Emirates is going from this factory, it was a joy. It was very emotional here. We had flags of Israel and the Emirates. The children of this kibbutz got the first lesson about peace and the influence of it. We were very, very happy. I was very, very happy because I think that eventually the change in the Middle East will be a change between people, not the government. People making and talking to each other. If a worker in the Emirates is seeing the flag of Israel and seeing the material coming from Israel, he knows that Israel is not just, enemies.
Thank you for joining us as we provide a spiritual insight of what God is doing in Israel and in the Middle East. If you want to learn more about what God is doing in Israel, make sure to visit us on our webpage and follow us on social media. Shalom, and God bless you from Jerusalem.